Okay, so this is a video on recognising and factorising the difference of two squares. This is a useful tip. It enables easier access to answers to fully simplify algebraic fractions, but it also pops up in other places, so it's something that is really useful to be aware of. Okay, so difference means subtraction, and squares can be numeric, for example 4 and 25. But they can also be algebraic. So, for example, x squared comes from x times x, and 4y squared comes from 2y times 2y, and 100a squared comes from 10a times 10a. So you see the idea. The sorts of examples to recognise and look for, I've got 3 of those here. X squared minus y squared, 49x squared minus 1, a squared minus 64b squared. So when you see any example of the difference of two squares, the thing to remember is they will always factorise in the same way, and that is as follows. Okay. So what's written in purple here with the red indicators? The first example, x squared minus y squared, will factorise with x and y in both brackets with one plus sign and one minus sign. So you're looking at the square roots of the terms that you start with. Separate them out into the brackets, one positive, one negative. Have a look at the second example, 49x squared minus 1. Square root of 49x squared is 7x, square root of 1 is 1, both into the brackets, one positive, one negative. And finally, a squared minus 64b squared, square root of a squared is a, square root of 64b squared is 8b, put each term in the brackets, 1 plus, 1 minus. And just to check why this works, have a look at the first example again. So on this top row here, if we look at it backwards and expand this bracket, and that's what I've done here, what we find is that the middle two terms are identical, but one is positive and one is negative, and therefore they cancel each other out, which just leaves us with the difference of two squares. Now, as I say, it's just a useful little nugget of information to have, and wherever you see questions that say simplify fully, factorise fully, then the odds are that you're going to come across an example of the difference of two squares.